All right. How do vaccines work? Here are my guides. This is like take 8 or something, I think. How does vaccines work? Vaccines work by training the immune system to recognize and combat pathogens like viruses and bacteria. The vaccine holds the antigens, which are substances derived from the pathogen. These can be inactivated or weakened forms of the virus or pieces of the pathogen, such as proteins. When a vaccine is administered, the immune system identifies the antigens as foreign. This triggers an immune response, which includes the activation of T cells, which destroy the infected cells, and B cells, which produce antibodies. After the initial immune response, the immune system creates memory cells that record and remember the specific antigens. This memory allows the immune system to respond more rapidly and effectively if it encounters the actual pathogen in the future. If the individual vaccinated is later exposed to the real virus or bacteria, their immune system can quickly recognize it and mount a defensive defense, reducing the individual's chances of illness or serious complications. Vaccines give a way for the body to learn how to fight infections without causing the disease, contributing to individual and community immunity. What is herd immunity? Is a form of indirect protection that occurs when a significant portion of population becomes immune to the disease, either through vaccination or prior infections. When enough individuals in a community are immune to a disease, the spread of the pathogens significantly slows. This is because there are fewer people for the pathogen to infect. Shared immunity can help protect individuals who cannot be vaccinated due to medical conditions, or the elderly, or people who are too young. With fewer carriers of the disease in the community, the likelihood of vulnerable individuals exposed is reduced. The percentage of the population that must be immune to achieve herd immunity varies by the diseases because of its level of contagiousness. Measles, for example, requires about 95% of the population to be immune to prevent outbreaks. Vaccinations can be a key strategy in achieving herd immunity, as it provides immunity without causing the disease in healthy individuals. This can prove importance for protecting communities and reducing the infectious diseases among vulnerable populations. How do RMNA vaccines work? An RMNA vaccine works by messenger RMNA, mRNA, to instruct cells in the body to produce a harmless piece of the target virus, typically protein found on its surface. The vaccine has synthetic mRNA mRNA that encodes the genetic code instructions for producing a specific viral protein. Once the mRNA vaccine is injected into the body, the mRNA enters cells where it is translated into the viral protein by the cell's ribosomes. The cells express the viral protein on their surface. This triggers the immune to recognize the protein is foreign, prompting an immune response. T cells are activated to help destroy infected cells, and B cells produce the antibodies specific to the viral protein. After the immune response is activated, the immune system develops memory cells that remember how to recognize and attack the viral protein. This memory can enable a quick immune response if the individual is later exposed to the actual virus. The mRNA is broken down and eliminated by the body, leaving no lasting presence of the vaccine's genetic material. mRNA vaccines train the immune system to recognize and combat specific pathogens by using synthetic mRNA to produce viral proteins, leading to a strong and lasting immune response without using the live virus. Include your personal opinion on whether vaccines should be mandatory for partaking in public social activities. I found an interesting report written by Maxwell J. Smith and Exiel J. Emmanuel, talking about the ethical debate surrounding mandated vaccinations, particularly about the COVID-19. They stress that the global response to future pandemics should not be slowed down by distractions of irrelevant information or emotional appeals that overshadow more serious and ethical dilemmas. I have mixed feelings about whether vaccines should be mandated for partaking in public and social activities. With the COVID pandemic, I refused for my kids and I to get the vaccine where it was so new to the medical field. I believe that vaccine mandates infringe on the principles of voluntary consent set up by the Nuremberg Code. Mandatory vaccinations requires conformed consent laws. My kids and I have strong immunities, and my kids got sent home quite a bit in high school because of not being vaccinated. So every time they were around a sick kid at school, they had to be sent home and go get a COVID test. And my kids have been tested for COVID more times than I can count. But I'm happy to report that none of us have ever tested positive for COVID. Thank you, Glyman. However, there are some effective vaccines that have proven their worth of importance and the safety it's created for our longevity, survival, and health. The authors argue that vaccination mandates can enhance civil liberties by protecting vulnerable populations. Smith and Emmanuel urge policymakers and the public to move beyond common arguments. The authors highlight the importance of engaging with more sophisticated ethical considerations, such as potential impacts of vaccination mandates on liberties and public trust.